Hello, my name is James Fromwell. I'm the recruitment specialist for WVU College Creative Arts. And with us today, we have Dr. Siegfried from the Saxophone Studio. Dr. Siegfried, welcome.
Hi, it's great to be here.
Today we're going to be talking a bit about the audition process, how students can prepare to audition for the Saxophone Studio at WVU. But first, if you could tell us a bit more about yourself, your background, and just a little bit about the Saxophone Studio.
Sure, absolutely. So I am from Bellingham, Washington, up in the northwest corner of the country. It's a place a lot like Morgantown, actually. It's a medium-sized college town with a lot of nature around and about an hour and a half from a major metropolitan area, which is Seattle in that case. And we're kind of near Pittsburgh here. I studied at Arizona State University, Northwestern University, and the University of Michigan. And at all those places, I split my time between classical and jazz playing. And the studio here has has similar dynamics in some ways. We like to play both sides of the instrument, both sides of the saxophone. And really like to prepare students for diverse careers in the field of music, through performance, through education, through music therapy. So students with a lot of different goals, but with some important values in common, like supporting one another very, very strongly, and working really hard. My aim here is to keep the studio at kind of a medium size where it's small enough that there's a lot of individualized instruction. You know, it's very important that each student who comes here knows that they're going to be studying with me for all 4 years. But large enough that we can have things like, consistent access to saxophone quartets. Every student who wants to is able to play in a saxophone quartet. Usually with peers from the same entering year. So a new saxophone quartet every year, and you stay with those people for the whole time that you're here. And we also present all the benefits of a research university. You can pursue whatever disciplines, inside and outside of music that you're interested in. And we have a sizable school of music here with a lot of opportunities for expanding beyond your work just as a saxophonist.
Great. Now, the audition the audition requirements are listed on our website, the Audition Day webpage. Could you talk a little bit just about how students might go about as they're selecting those pieces, some things they should have in mind as they're preparing themselves to submit their audition videos?
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest piece of advice that I would give is get in touch with me. Send me an email, say hello, say that you're interested in WVU, you're interested in the saxophone program here, and I'll try to get back to you right away, and I'll offer you, a complimentary lesson or two. And that's one of my favorite parts of the audition process. It kind of stands outside of the official process, but in that meeting, I can make some suggestions. If you're not sure what you want to play or what repertoire would be good for the audition, I can make suggestions. If you do have your repertoire selected, but you're not sure what you should especially be focusing on trying to make good about it, I can help you focus on those things. So it's a nice opportunity to make this whole process seem a lot less overwhelming, and I highly, highly recommend it. It's also just a chance for us to get to know each other and for me to talk a little bit more about the program, you to talk a little more about your goals. Highly recommend it. If you have questions about particular logistical details, administrative details about your audition, the man I'm talking with here, James Fromwell, is a great resource. So just feel free to email him. I think those are the biggest things that I can recommend, but also very important is have fun while you're practicing for this audition. I know it might seem like a really intense experience. You've got to get everything right. But at the end of the day, music is about having fun, and music is about being passionate about the art that you play. So keep those values in mind as you're preparing for your audition.
Great. Now, the audition process of course, is a little bit different this year in that typically students would be coming on campus and presenting a full audition package on the audition day. This year, as they're submitting audition videos to us, which will include that kind of primary musical package, we do still have the audition interview component. And that's when students on their scheduled day will be meeting with faculty to talk a little bit. Could you tell us what you expect to do during that time as you're meeting with students, what they should expect to experience during that time?
Yeah, so it's just one more opportunity for getting to know one another. Again, I really recommend getting in touch with me before you've had the audition, and at that point, we'll just know each other anyway. But this 15-minute interview is a great chance for maybe me to ask you some questions about what your goals in music are, and for you to ask me some questions about the studio here. I'm not going to need to hear you again. I'll have listened to your audition video already. You don't need to be thinking about that part of things. You don't need to be thinking about performing again. It isn't that kind of a thing. It's just a chance for us to get to know each other even better.
Great. And anything else that students should know?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't reiterate enough how supportive the studio environment is here. I am constantly just blown away by the tight-knit network that students create for one another at the School of Music at large, but especially within the saxophone studio. It's really amazing to witness. And if you ever get a chance to talk to anybody in the studio, they'll testify to what that's like, what that environment is like for them. I think it's really special. We are a studio that works hard, and I'm looking for students that are willing to take on that challenge. And that means different things for different people. For some people, it means a lot of exposure to saxophone, the saxophone culture already. For some people, it means less exposure, but a real demonstrated work ethic. So I think that's a really cool combination. Really supportive environment, and an environment that values hard work. We've got a lot of interesting projects coming up. As I already mentioned, there are opportunities every year for saxophonists to play in saxophone quartet, in combos, in large ensembles like jazz bands, wind ensemble, etc., and the marching band. All of these things are possibilities for students. But there are also a few unusual things here that I think are really good to outline. We have an on-campus record label, Mon Street Records, where students are able to produce their own albums and release them. And we have that happen every year. So if that's something that interests you, it's a really unusual opportunity that is cool to take advantage of here. We have things like the Pan Steel Ensemble, Bluegrass Ensemble, World Music Ensemble, and we really encourage students to be a part of these. It's an increasingly important part of our curriculum, and if having those sort of diverse musical experiences are important to you, I think that this school potentially could be a really good fit. One other thing that I've noticed that's very special about this place is that faculty are extremely accessible. So if you have an interest in branching out into musicology or music theory, those faculty are going to meet with you in a heartbeat and kind of show you the ropes of what those fields are about. If you're somebody who's interested in playing instruments other than saxophone, in addition to your work with me as a saxophonist, those faculty, in my experience, have been very, very receptive to working with students that have an interest in those areas. And this is not something that you'll find everywhere. So I think it's really exciting. Finally, just one item that we have coming up as a saxophone studio is a trip as a studio to Japan, where the World Saxophone Congress will be held in 2022. And it's part of a university program that helps studio professors to take their students on the road to experience new things, experience the world, and take their playing to the next level. So, I think it's a really great environment. And again, if you have any questions about it, please reach out to me or reach out to James Rummel.
Excellent. Well, Dr. Siegfried, thank you so much for your time today. To our prospective students, thank you for watching, and we look forward to hearing your audition.